know, if you watch us with any regularity, parents already have plenty to worry about. Now there's something different for parents to fear. There are groups of people out there who are preying on your children. These are groups that seek out kind of good kids and can turn them into ruthless hate mongers. And that's what one of our guests today said happened to her teenage son in a crime that made headlines and shocked the community. Last year, a 14-year-old girl was savagely beaten by a group of skinheads with a pool stick. Today, 3 teenagers are behind bars for that brutal beating, but the mother of one of the 3 says that her son was also a victim. She says he was a nice boy who was brainwashed by the skinheads. We're going to talk to this mom and her son later in an exclusive TV interview. But first, I think it's important that we get a sense of what the young skinheads are really about. I want you to meet Jason, Shane, Nicole, and Ron. They say they're all proud members of a skinhead group called the Aryan National Front. Skinheads, by the way, are the most violent group of white supremacists. They believe in Nazi doctrine, they believe in anti-Semitism, and they are also anti-gay. They say they hate anyone who isn't white and that violence is the only way to achieve racial purity. Shane's father, Mike, and Jason's mother, Donna, say they're very upset about their sons joining the skinhead group. But before we talk to the parents, Shane, let me ask you what the Aryan National Front stands for.
Well, the Aryan National Front is a white separatist organization, and they have the National Socialist belief, which is our race is our nation, and our nation's everything, and that's what we should live and fight and die for.
Nicole, your parents have no idea that you're a skinhead, and yet you're here on national television. Are you not worried that they would find out? You are not worried that they would find out. Do you care if they find out? No. Shane, you told our producers that if you were forced to make a choice, you would pick the skinheads over your own family. This must be very hard for a family to hear. Can you explain that for us?
Well, my mother told me to make the decision. She said I could live in her house or go off with and be with them, so I left and be with them. My mother still, I live in my mother's house today. My mother still loves me. I still love my mother. We have a great relationship.
Okay.
She doesn't agree with everything I believe, but she doesn't disagree with everything I believe either.
So it would be the group over your family?
Well, if it came down to my race over my family, because my family's just a few people, my race is everything.
You also told our producers you feel Hitler was a brilliant man and follow his beliefs. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You also said you believe in violence to protect the race, and you admit to shooting people. Is that correct?
If it's necessary.
It's necessary. Shane and Jason, how do your parents feel about you being a skinhead?
Well, I'm sure my mom hates it.
Okay. Okay. Let's ask them how they feel. Mike and Donna, come on out. Donna, I know you just found out a few days ago that your son Jason is a skinhead. How could he have kept that from you?
Well, the only thing that I knew about was, him fighting, the fighting that he'd had. And I would ask him some things, would come up, and I would ask him about it, and he would deny it.
How does it make you feel that he is a skinhead?
It's terrifying. I mean, he's on the road to destruction.
You feel that way. Have you told him that?
Mm-hmm.
What does he say?
Well, I haven't exactly said, you're on the road to destruction. He was wanting, for a while he would say, well, I'm going to get a job and I'm going to move out and I'm going to be independent. But now he's letting someone tell him what to think.
I'm not letting anyone tell me what to think.
What to wear. Who he can like, who he can dislike,
Jason has said he worships the hell out of Hitler and looks at him as his father.
I said I look at him as a father, not my father.
As a father. Do you agree with that, Mom?
No. I mean, Hitler was one of the worst people that's ever, that's ever been here.
Mike, how do do you feel about your son Shane's involvement as a skinhead?
I don't care for it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Have you talked to him?
I didn't hear you.
Have you talked to him about it?
We've talked a little bit. He knows how I feel.
Why are you worried about it? What worries you?
Because I'm afraid he's either going to wind up getting in trouble, wind up in prison, or wind up dead.
I don't wish any of you to go through what the Jewish people and any other person who is a victim of the person that you seemingly worship. The only thing that I want to set the record straight for is that the hand salute that you honor him with was short by one thing. Instead of a 5-hand salute like you do, it was 4 fingers too much. It should have been like this for Hitler.
Parents John and Beth were horrified to find out that their daughter's boyfriend Casey and his brother Chad are members of the KKK. Before we bring out Mom and Dad, let me ask, Teresa, you are not in the KKK.
No.
You are not. Why are you not in the KKK? Do you not believe what they believe in, or what?
I'm not a hateful person. I don't believe that I should go out hating people. I mean, what they want to do.
So? Why are you dating a boy who is in this group?
Because he's not bad. I mean, no, just let me talk. You guys don't even give me a chance to talk. Let me talk. You can figure out what's really going on here.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
You know how much we love
Just be quiet. All right.
And love.
I love him. He's a great man to me. I mean, boy, whatever you want to call him, he's a guy, all right? Girl and guys go together, okay?
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Why are you dating him?
Because I love him.
Okay.
Whatever he believes in, that's like his God. It's not, it's all Christian, all right? Whatever you want to...
The Jews got you all fooled.
He believes... He can...
The white race is the chosen people. It's in the Bible. We reign over everything. Everything great. Everything great is from the white man.
Listen, we have to listen to what other people say, and we have to listen quietly. So let's talk. Let's talk in a normal tone of voice. Casey, you are proud to be a member of the KKK, okay? Tell us why this is a good organization.
You can see it here. Our white race is slowly dying in front of our eyes, and we are proud. We are proud to stand up.
You're that good. That's racism right there. And look at these hate faces. Look at these hateful faces. The reason I hate is because I gotta look at faces like that look at me with hatred.
And you guys say that we are full of hate, but as soon as we walked out that door, what happened?
What happened?
All of you. Let me finish what I'm gonna say. I never said I hate you. I do not hate you. I do not hate you. I do not hate you.
Let me talk to Teresa for a moment. You know your parents are upset that Casey is involved in the KKK. Does it bother you that your parents are upset?
They ain't really, they're upset. I can see them, but that's just my dad protecting me. That's my dad. He's going to do that for me.
Okay. Casey, how do you feel about her parents not approving?
That's their choice.
That's their choice. I think it's time we hear what Teresa's parents have to say. John and Beth, come on out. Can I get through here one way or the other to these people? Thank you. John and Beth, how do you feel about this?
I don't like it, and the more I learn about it, the more I don't like it.
How do you feel about your daughter's boyfriend? I'm asking you a very point-blank question.
I like Casey. I like him.
You like him.
But I just don't like who he stands for.
What he stands for.
For what?
The young man is all right, but what he stands for bothers you.
I wish that he would get away from it.
Do you think there's a chance he will, parents?
I want to ask
would like
him
to
one
think
thing.
there is.
Well, go ahead, ask him. Don't ask me, ask him.
I've talked to you honestly, and you know I spoke to you from my heart, and it wasn't to put a show on for nobody. You know I love my daughter,
Yes.
all right?
Do anything in the world for
And
him.
the one thing I wanted to ask you is, remember we talked about being a man, and when a man makes his own mind up on things, he doesn't let nobody else follow him.
Anybody.
I
He
want to
made
ask
his
you
own mind up. He
see,
joined the Klan.
See,
Excuse me.
I told you I'd never be able to talk to you. That's it. Casey, man, I'm telling you, bud, I'm asking you one thing. One thing. You're 18, you're a man.
That's right.
I want to ask you one thing. As a man, just your choice, nobody else's, none of these people's. Be a man, stand up, get away from the Klan for 1 year. 1 year. For you. For just you. Let Casey Brown stand out there and go to a Jewish temple. You know why? Because you could be a man and you could see what goes on there, right? And go to a church that has more black in it.
Johnny Lee Clary, by the way, welcome back, was once an imperial wizard of the KKK, and once was, that's correct, and was a member for 17 years. 17 years. What do you think of what you have heard so far, and would you be kind enough to talk to Chad and Casey?
Yes, ma'am. You know, it just goes to show how bad racism is in this country right now, and one of the audience members said that racism is a sickness. And the way to combat that sickness is you don't want to hate a sick person, you want to help that sick person get better. And that's what my job is all about now. And what I would say to you, Casey...
Talk to Chad and talk to Casey.
Yeah, okay. Casey, you've been taught, racism is taught. It's a learned response. You're not born with it. You have to be taught it.
It was not taught.
But I want to make a point here. Do you love Teresa?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I believe Teresa cares for you. Did you know that Teresa is half Indian and half Mexican?
She's Spanish and Indian. Spanish. Different.
Well, here's the thing. The very thing you talked about, racial purity, but she happens to be something that the Klan and I believe the Skinheads are against. What do y'all think of her being part Mexican and part Indian?
She is Spanish.
You're a very young man. You're young now. I'm a lot older than you. I've been where you was at one time. And love, if you love a woman, you must respect a woman.
That's right.
And she came to me with her father, and she does not want you involved in this. Why can't you respect her wishes and leave it if you love her?
Because that's my choice. I love her, so she should love me for what I am.
She shouldn't love you when you violate someone else's rights, and that's what you're doing when you preach hatred and violate other people's rights.
Tell me, when time have I violated someone else's rights?
It's sad because if you don't turn your life around, you're going to make some sorry mistakes, and you got a chance you could turn your life around and have a future with her. But this is, I want to say something to the parents. May I say something to them?
Surely.
This is what's wrong with today's society. Parents need to take a stand in their home and take authority over their children. She is not 18 years old yet, and I want to ask you guys, if he's given a choice, if he will not honor her wishes and come out of this, then I would ask you guys to take authority in your home until she turns 18. When she turns 18, she can do what she wants to. But until she turns 18, take authority.
All right.
And don't allow this type of hate to come into your home.
I made her promise.
Allow me to get another opinion. I would like to introduce to you a gentleman I hold in extremely high esteem. His name is Roy Inness, and he is National Chairman of the Congress of Racial Equality. Roy, come on.
That's right.
Yeah, you did. And you wonder why we do.
And if you don't calm down, he's liable to use it against you.
Oh, well. Bring it on. Bring it on. We can do it all over again. You say you can't fight in the ring? Fight you in the mother. Hey, he might use violence against me, huh? See? Hey, let's do the show.
Sit down, sit down.
Okay, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Everybody, sit down. Sit down. They can stand if they want to. All of you sit down. I would like, sir, some healing. Some healing.
Don't sit down and hit me.
Okay?
Sally.
I've asked a favor. I've asked Roy to do some healing, okay? Let's just listen.
I saw in the monitor that these guys have grown from something like 400 up to about 4,000.
Well, unfortunately, there was 200,000 sympathizers.
Let's give them 10,000.
Yes.
Let's give them that. Be generous.
It only takes one.
We have 250 million, 260 million Americans. And I have seen a cross-section of America here today. We have the answer to these guys. Now, let me tell you, what happened in Germany could not have happened if the German people had reacted like your audience.
That's right.
Huh?
That's absolutely right.
They had pride. The German people had pride.
If they had reacted, the people in your listening audience, your viewing audience, if they're a reflection of the audience here, of the gentleman, the father, who spoke for his daughter and spoke so well, that's America. That's the positive. That's the healing. We'd be crazy to react to these guys. Let them stand.
Yes. That's right. However, it's very important to put a spot. Know about that too well. Back to the parents. Last year, a community was shocked when a 14-year-old girl was beaten by a group of skinheads. 3 teenagers were sent to jail for that crime, and the mother of one of them is here today to talk about what her family has been through at the hands of the skinhead movement. Please meet Michelle. Next to Michelle, by the way, to make her feel more comfortable, is her attorney, Marian Costanza, who is joining her for support. This is Michelle's first television appearance. Michelle says her son's life was ruined after he got involved with the skinhead group. Now her son Stephen is joining us by telephone from jail. But first, Michelle, how did you find out that your son was involved in a skinhead group?
Okay. First of all, my son was not really a member of any group, okay? He was a very vulnerable, confused teenager who was full of a lot of anger, and the anger was directed at himself. He was angry at himself. He was angry at me. He had a lot of problems at school, and this group was allowed. This group took my son and brainwashed him and made him feel important, like he belonged and he was accepted, okay? My son doesn't now, nor did he ever, hate anybody because of their skin or religion or for any reason. These people just took him and brainwashed him and made him feel important, okay? He was more like a show skinhead. He wore the clothes, he shaved his head, but never once did I ever hear him tell anybody that I hate you because you're black. Or
He may not have understood the ramifications of the group. Stephen, are you with us?
Yes.
Tell us from your point of view. I heard what Mother had to say, but what made you get involved with the skinheads in the first place?
Well, you know, my mother's pretty much right. You know,
She was right. Okay.
Okay, it's the acceptance that they see. You know, you belong to something. You think you're going to change something. You're going to be a part of a big thing, which you're just involved in a big lie, and you're basically lying to yourself, I think.
Stephen, what about the night of the beating? Can you really quickly tell us what happened? I hate to ask you to make it short, but I have to.
All right, well, I hear a lot of people saying that the skinheads beat up a girl.
Right.
That's not what it was. It wasn't every skinhead jumped on a little...
Sandy. 2 years ago, Sandy, has it been 2 years? My goodness.
It's been
2 years, Sandy wrote us a letter that really touched our hearts. Her son, Adam, was a skinhead. Her son is now serving 25-year sentence for killing a homeless black man in cold blood. Sandy and her son joined us to share the pain. Please take a look at this. What do you remember about the murder?
I just remember we were going out to beat people up, and everyone ran off, and I saw a fire, and there was a form huddled there. He just popped up, he had a weapon in his hand, and I said, "Merry Christmas." Next thing I know, I just started beating him and couldn't stop. You know, I just beat him and beat him and beat him, and you know, next thing my friend said, "Hey, come on, let's get out of here, man." You know, they'd come back to the car, and I just I felt high, you know. I was like, I couldn't believe I just killed somebody. I knew he was dead.
You knew? How did you know he was dead?
He had his brains coming out of his head.
But you couldn't, Adam, there were no way that you could stop yourself from beating up this man?
I don't know.
I'm sure it's something that you must have thought about. Anyhow.
It just...
Yes, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It didn't, I don't know, it just didn't cross my mind. It just happened.
Just keep doing it. And as you said, there was a feeling when you came back that you had killed somebody. Did that feel good?
At the time, yeah.
Just to tell you where these things go. Sandy was very afraid that her 16-year-old daughter, Aaron, who also joined us that day, was heading down the same path as her brother. Take a look. Adam, do you want to say something to Aaron?
Well, first, is it true? I mean, are you hanging out with skinheads, Aaron?
I only have a couple of friends, but I'm in no way in that direction. I mean, I've seen what it's done to you, and it's a really destructive path to go on, and I'm not going that way.
Well,
And
remember...
Go ahead.
No, just remember the people that I hung out with, you seen how they acted, you know. You don't want to hang out with them.
I know.
Hope, Nicole, and Teresa. If I can't save the world, maybe I can save the women. We're listening. Sandy, it's nice to have you back with us. What's happened since the show? Did Aaron take Adam's advice and stay away from the skinheads?
Yes, she did. She was lying on the show.